Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Rocco. I'm wearing my Keep Calm and Kill Zombies shirt because we're going to kill some zombies.
Going to do a review of Train to Busan Presents Peninsula.
Now, this flick came out last year. Am I correct?
I mean, supposedly it says it came out this year. Probably came out late last year. I'm not exactly sure with the whole pandemic how it actually did, but from everything I've read, it says 2020. So August 7th, 2020. I don't think it was August 7th because I had heard about it. So, but
Freaking Rona. Freaking Rona.
directed by Sang Ho Yeon, who directed the first film, which is an absolute devastating classic film, one of the best horror movies of all time, one of the best movies of all time. And now also written by Sang Ho Yeon and Ryu Young Jae. I apologize, I'm gonna mangle all these names, but let's get to it. This is set 4 years into the future after the events of the first movie, and it's not a straight sequel because you see none of the characters from the first movie. It is just what happens afterwards. Take it away, Rocco.
All right. So, in a nutshell, without getting ahead of myself, I consider this to be a copy of the structure of 28 Days Later and 28 Months Later. Except this is the Train to Busan version of fast forwarding what happens later. Not against it. Freaking A. Awesome. Basically, the plot line is there is a military person with his family who was escaping the original Train to Busan incident. He was going to get his family to a ship, which was headed out of Korea. Along the way, there's a mom with a baby and an injured dad begging for help. Just take the daughter. Just take the daughter. Don't care about us. Don't take the daughter. I know we're strangers, blah, blah, blah. He passes them up.
Yes.
He gets his family to the boat. They said something has happened. The boat was originally going to dock in Japan or somewhere. Something has happened. Now they're ceasing all ports, freezing it up. And then as things cascade in this genre, in the same vein as Train to Busan, outbreak breaks up on the boat. His sister and his niece,
nephew,
I'm sorry, they get in a room. Great scene.
It is a great scene.
They get infected in the room. He has to go in there as the bodies. And for those that don't know, and I don't know why you wouldn't know, the Train to Busan and Korean version zombies are kind of like, what do you call them?
They're very flexible.
They're flexible. They're contortionists.
Yes.
And they go through a spastic backflip or something as they turn. And they turn quickly. And when they are activated in the zombie virus, they're maniacal mofos. They are possessed, rabid. They don't twitch and walk and slide their feet. They come at you.
Yes.
They come at you like a special teams.
If you haven't seen it, think of the remake of the Dawn of the Dead times a million. Maybe kind of like the zombies from World War Z, but even worse. Because they seem like they have they think and they have thought.
They can kind of put things together. It's like more instinctual than anything else instead of just a zombie. Quote
Their only weakness would be obviously being shot in the head and the fact that they don't see well. So in the night,
they hear pretty damn good.
So
and
so just remember that. Now, not to cut you off. Jeez, I was my train of thought now. Anyway, carry on.
Real short. I'm just gonna wrap this up real short. The brother-in-law survives. Is very disgruntled. He survives. The sister dies. The nephew dies, and seems like the rest of the world, kind of like they did in 28 Days Later, they've put the peninsula of Korea on quarantine.
Yeah.
The only safe place to go is north, which rocking a hard place.
That's exactly what I want to tell you.
or they get to Hong Kong and
Sorry for the technical difficulties, and we are back once again.
it's okay. Solar flares happen.
Yeah.
So
What I want to say before.
they're the low of the low in Hong Kong.
Yes.
They're scum. They're tainted. They're like the Scarlet Letter. Anywhere they go, hey, you're from the infected. They can't get any money. They can't work. They can't sleep. So he is known, I guess, to be a ex-military or something. And these thugs, low
Yeah,
life
well, he
thugs.
was a captain. I mean, they keep mentioning captain. He was a quasi high ranking in the military. And if I'm not mistaken, South Korea was what was basically was taken over, and North Korea
Basically, South Korea is on quarantine and nobody goes in. Nobody goes out. I
and
guess if you want to go in, it's on your own.
North Korea was much better off.
Oh yeah, I mean, as the world has flipped on its head.
Yeah. So
So he's been propositioned by some gangbangers. Hey, go in there. There's $20 million US dollars. Go fetch it. Come out. We'll split the money. You can live good. You can live better. And this is where it's a little weird because he's guilt ridden. He's a mess. He takes the job. Now his brother-in-law takes the job.
yeah,
So maybe he goes as a protectorate. I don't know.
I don't know.
But he goes and they go with two other people and they get in there and then shit goes sideways and he gets rescued in an ironic fashion. He gets rescued by the daughter and another daughter of the very same people that he passed up 4 years ago
Yeah,
to pick up and survive.
this is where the sequel or whatever the continuation loses the charm and the gravitas and the importance and the big deal of the first one. This felt like a throwaway idea or a throwaway script from an 80s action flick that you would see Schwarzenegger or even Jean-Claude Van Damme in. All right. Almost very hokey to the point of a video game type of idea. Or you have to go in, get the money, and come out. Which,
It becomes Escape from Seoul.
exactly what's the motivation for the character to even do that? I mean, he's all bummed down, depressed because of what happened. So he's gonna go back in just for some money. So if he's such a badass, why doesn't he just take over, kill all these guys, and then just become a freaking a guy himself?
It takes away from his character. It's no longer a noble thing to do. He's a scumbag mercenary who's going to get paid. And he risks his life. And it changes while he's there. It's the reasoning. I get you. It's the reasoning why are you going in the first place. Now, he does end up rescuing everybody. I'm not going to spoil it too much for you, but that's basically how it plays out. I agree with you. It becomes a really bad plot line.
Mm-hmm.
Really poorly developed characters thrown into what is the modern version of Escape from New York, but with the zombie virus.
Yeah,
and set in Korea.
Nowhere near as good.
Pretty terrible. The zombies are one of the better parts. The bad guys in the movie.
You barely see zombies after a while. It becomes you have this whole, as we know, which is already I'm over the whole civilization is doomed now. We're the bad guys. Humanity is. So you have these military guys, the 631, who all of a sudden they become bad, and they're the ones that rule everything. Dude,
there's no fresh ideas. There's no
something.
imagination. It seems like it's a money grab to live off the Train from Busan success.
Then at the end, it turns into Train to Fast and the Furious because there's a huge car chase that lasts about 25 minutes, probably towards the climax of the film, which is so CGI that video games look better than this. It is so CGI ridden that cool stuff happens, but it is so
Mad Max.
And not even as good because Mad Max was practical effects. This is CGI. This is and mind you, the director, his background is animation, so obviously this was easy, or his vision or whatever else. But It didn't have any. Then at the end, they give you some half-assed, you know, pull the heartstrings to make you tear jerk at the end. Way unlike the first one, we actually felt the ending, actually felt bad, and you actually were like, "Damn, that hurts." This was so ham-fisted and so freaking overwrought. It was the movie was fun, but you take away Train to Busan Presents and just call it Peninsula. Okay, the whole Train to Busan thing, besides the zombies being, running around and jumping and contortionists and all kinds of stuff, had nothing to do with the first one. And I was completely disappointed. I want my $5 back.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's largely disappointing. Again, as I intro the whole movie, what made 28 months later, or 28 weeks later, I'm sorry, much better is that it had very compelling storylines and characters. It had a person very creative who, as a survivor, who apparently has some recessive immunity to it. It had, you know, I wouldn't say soap opera, but it had dramatic, real feelings and relationships that are getting
What's
severed.
something new to the table?
But it had a real character. What's his name's character who was noble, who pushed the car so it can start, and he was on fire. And then what I love the best part about 28 weeks later is at the ending, it's not a happy hold hands kumbaya. They have successfully spread the virus to Europe.
Yeah, I mean, but look,
And it should have been worse. Should have been 28 months later where all the world is infected. I don't go that far. All I'm saying is this is a happy, tidy ending. It's a horrible movie
and
as far as concept.
the ending actually happens. You're like, what?
No, so I guess it's time to take out the butcher block.
Yes.
It sounds like Izzy, I hand you the knife first. What say you, sir?
If we go with the popcorn, it's complete stale, rotten popcorn with maggots inside. If you want to go with the bloody knives, it's one dull, broken
Butter knife.
butter knife. Enough said. Next.
I have to concur. It's stale popcorn without any butter, without any salt. It's been out left in the sun. Yes, it's a dull, not even bloody butter knife. It's like a self-inflicted wound. I agree with you. I want my $5 back. I was lucky enough to pay $3.99 and not do the HD.
Nice.
So I minimized my loss there. What?
Nice.
Listen, people out there, pass on this movie. There's a trillion other horror movies, zombie movies. If you want one, we can give you a whole list. You probably already know the list. I mean, yeah, pass it up. Not even polite.
If you want some fast zombies, fire up your PS4. Put in Days Gone. Put in Resident Evil. Put in
Last of Us.
The Last of Us. Put in any freaking game and play that instead. Enough said.
All right, time to bury it. That's our review of Peninsula, whatever you want to call it. Horrible train wreck. And unfortunately, the zombie movies that have been coming out of South Korea have been by and large very successful, imaginative, entertaining. This is just not one of them. Hey, not everybody's perfect. Nobody scores 100 all the time. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for keeping us alive and doing what we're doing. We love you all. And we don't forget you guys over there in France, in Germany, Luxembourg, Ecuador, El Salvador, the Antarctic, and in SpaceX. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Save the whales.
And to all a good night. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka. We are the Dead Air Dudes.
Dead Air Dudes Nation signing off. Take care. Goodbye. Save the whales. Take care, guys.